There are new unemployment and housing reports out later this week that might not be good news. So for some straight money talk this morning, we're going to turn to Dave Ramsey, the host of the Dave Ramsey Show on radio and the Fox Business Network. He joins us from his studio in Nashville. And Dave, I want to get to our viewers' questions in a second, but I heard a description of the economy the other day from the president's top advisor, Larry Summers. He called it a statistical recovery, but a human recession. Is that what you're seeing out there?
Well, and what the White House is responding there to, and they should, is just the folks that are really, really hurting. There's a portion of the population with the unemployment and with the real estate values that's really, really hurting. And it's kind of there's a lot of disparity because we're taking calls from people all over the nation, and we've got pockets of the nation that are really struggling, and then other areas that are doing fairly well. And so there's this difference that's going on, and while the statistics seem to indicate we're doing pretty good, there are these certain areas where folks are struggling.
And there are still some big problems out there with housing, and more than 5 million Americans underwater now on their mortgages. A lot of people now talking about walking away from those, just walking away from their homes. Good idea?
Oh, no, absolutely not. If you can at all avoid it. Now, we need to remember that 5 million people being 75% upside down or at a 75% loan to value, again, almost 85 to 90% of those 5 million are in 4 states. And so the rest of the nation is not facing this. So we can't make decisions, you know, the economy is somewhat like politics. It's local at the end of the day. And so you don't walk away from your home. If you can at all afford it, sit there. It will recover. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't afford it and you're going to be foreclosed on, then attempt to sell it on a short sale before the foreclosure. That'll be a lot better than just walking away.
Okay, as I said, we wanted to get some real questions from real people out there. In this turbulent economy, a lot of people are going through transitions right now. And one young mother had this question for you.
Hi, my question is, if I have an extra $200 a month, I'm starting a family, what is the best way to invest that extra $200 a month? Where should it be used towards?
Excellent. See, there's somebody doing pretty good, an extra $200 a month. Not bad. Well, when you're starting a family, if the baby's already on the way, we don't do a bunch of fancy things. We just pile up cash and get ready for baby to come, because it's a lot more fun to have a child with $10,000 in the bank in case there's some kind of a hiccup than it is being broke. And so get ready. Now, once baby comes and baby's okay and mommy's okay, then we'll start working on a game plan. And that's, of course, to get yourself out of debt with that money and build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses.
That's the emergency fund, but eventually you have to pay for college for that baby. And another woman had a question about that.
Hi, so my financial question is, we would like to know how to save money, more money for our daughter's college education. And we just want to see how to do that. How do we do that?
You know, our body language says, I don't have any money. How do I do that? There's no money here. There's no room in the budget. After I pay the bills, there's nothing left. And again, it sounds kind of weird, but the best way is to put off saving for college a year or maybe 2 while you clean up your mess, and that's have that emergency fund and get rid of all those payments. If you don't have any payments because you've gotten out of debt, suddenly there's wiggle room in the budget to start setting up college funds. And as young as that child is, you need to use the ESA, the Educational Savings Account, which allows you to save up to $2,000 a year for that baby, and it grows tax-free. It's the Roth IRA of college. It's awesome.
Lots of questions out there about investing. So many people scared away after the crash in the markets last year, but questions now about how to invest going forward. Here's one.
So, you know, I'm not a real risk taker. I don't have much time to kind of find out about the stocks and markets and all that. So I was just wondering, what's the best way for me to, invest and make my money grow for a person like me?
Really good question. Well, I'm not a big risk taker either, and you don't need to spend a bunch of time studying individual stocks. That does represent a lot of risk. We recommend good growth stock mutual funds that have a 5 or a 10-year or longer track record that have weathered some of these storms. And then once you get on, you don't jump off. You never get hurt on a roller coaster if you don't jump off. Ride it all the way through. And the last 18 months have really proven that as this market has rebounded after the crisis. If you had jumped out back in March, you would have really had a mess. And the other thing is this, you do have time. 28% of Americans spent more time watching reality TV last month than they spent in the last 10 years working on their retirement plan. So reprioritize some of your time, baby. You do have time.
Okay, Dave Ramsey, thanks very much. Very good information.